And welcome back.
To the Not So Perfect podcast. I am Matt Shin with my co-host,
Gerardo Cornejo. Thank you guys for being here.
Take two. We forgot we had the fans still on. So.
Yeah, we just edited it out.
Yep. So just to let you all know, we're not perfect.
We're not perfect. Welcome back. We're fresh off a Capital City race. Very successful, very beautiful. Beginning to Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
And thank you for doing all that for all of us in the community. And
well, I think.
What do you think about it?
Yeah. Well, we had over 100 more runners this year, which is astronomical. Didn't think that was going to be a thing.
That's a lot of people.
But it is. So we're going to have to talk to Jeff City about maybe constructing some more hotels if we keep growing such as we are. So beyond blessed, beyond grateful. We were talking ahead of time before the podcast. Like, I don't even know if it's fully hit me yet. Just everything that transpired from Wednesday to Saturday of last week, but all good, all great things. I'm blessed. We had Friday, it pretty much started raining from about packet pickup all the way till I left Jared's kids and all them after I dropped their bags and their bibs off and everything Friday night, and it had just been pouring all basically 4 o'clock on. Had not stopped, had not let up. But I knew I had a sign of hope because as I was leaving, I had them at my buddy's Airbnb up behind Patty Malone's, on the river bluffs.
Yeah.
Well, the driveways are in the back, so you got to go to the river basically, or the bank. So as I was pulling out and heading back towards my house, I could see over the bridge. Okay, everything above it was just black, and then I could see where the sunset was. The clouds had broke, and I could see the sunset. Very far off into the distance, but I knew
This is Jared waving at you.
that is coming our way. So, in good fashion, 4 years in a row, Jared has blessed us from up above with beautiful weather, and Saturday was no different. It was perfect running weather to start. It did get a little bit warmer as the day went on, but due to that rain we had Friday, that humidity.
All those fast runners were done by then?
Kick up, yes. So, beyond blessed. I think we had a great day. Everyone I talked to had a wonderful experience. We only had a few issues, but, or at least only had a few issues that I think the public knew was going on. Behind the scenes, there was a few more things going on than that, but I just asked people, as long as you guys enjoyed it and you didn't notice all the hiccups that I had that Saturday morning, because anyone that doesn't know this or hasn't planned a race or an event such as this, sometimes shit goes wrong. And sometimes that shit is out of your hands, out of your control. So you got to make the best of it. And unfortunately, Saturday morning when you find out this isn't working or that's not going to happen or we messed up here, these are very quick, in-the-minute decisions you got to make. And I keep it real simple with that process of, is there something I can do about this right now? Me physically or someone that's on the site. And if not, we're just going to have to keep it moving because some things are just out of our control. That's the biggest thing. So we had some things that didn't go great on the back end, but in terms of how the thing went overall Saturday.
Started right at 7.
Went great. We were a few minutes behind schedule
back
there.
Back to back.
But yeah, man, everything came together as great as it could have, and I think we put on hopefully a great morning and a great day for everybody.
A huge thanks to the volunteers. They did phenomenal.
Yeah.
To me being one of the attendees, the water was cold. The snacks were always there. The vendors were wonderful. The kids got to be busy with that and be active over there. So the volunteers did great. And shout out to Tim Glavin.
Yeah.
He's still running.
Yeah, he's still running.
He won. He came first in the marathon.
He decided he was going to do it again.
He just ran by again this morning. He's still running.
Yeah, no, shout out to him. He's been a beast. We even got to have a conversation behind the scenes, after I gave him his award and stuff. Dude, I go, I don't know I'm sure you don't know this, but this is where I work. I go, there's days where I don't feel like getting out there running, and guess what I see? I see bald Tim just trickling on by, just running his miles. So I was like, whether you know it or not, dude, I go, you motivate me on days where I don't feel like doing it, or if I need to get my ass out there and I'm finding excuses, and I see you run across our window front, I was like, if Tim's hammering, I got to hammer too.
Got to hammer down.
So.
And it's a wonderful family event. My family, we all did it. And my son, I was trying to keep up with him. He finished, and we slowed him down in the beginning a little bit because big sister was like, you can't get ahead of us. Mom's going to be mad. That dude was ready to go. So he got 29 minutes. I got 31 minutes. Ari was 40s, I think. And then Stacy finished the race with Marley under an hour, I think.
That's awesome.
So my little 5-year-old ran it, walked, got carried a little bit.
No stroller this
No
year.
stroller. It has been
Stroller this year.
retired. So
Yeah.
family-friendly event. And when I thought I was so happy for you when we got to Capitol Avenue back here. And I told you already this, but the first year, there's about like a row of like a dozen of us.
Oh, yeah.
And this year it was just people from where I was at all the way down to Capitol Avenue with the 5Kers, you know.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of half marathon people.
So we had the most people signed up for the 5K. Second was the half marathon, and then the least attended race was the 10K.
Oh, really?
And that's usually how it goes for the 4 years that we've been doing this.
So you either going big or
Going big, or maybe you're just starting.
you started, yeah.
But
we had friends that walked the whole thing, and it was moms running out there with their kids.
well, and what a lot of the parents I hear feedback wise, just from people on the side or just the day of or just leading up to the race, is a lot of these moms. This is an opportunity for the whole family to get together for Mother's Day weekend. You know, your mothers do more for us than you can imagine. What you know and what you don't know.
They're the
that
creators.
They do. So the least you can do, if this is what they want, it doesn't. I mean, it's not going to break your bank. It's not going to. You don't have to travel 9 hours and get a hotel, and like, you're right here in town. You can just, if that's what your mom wants, like, I feel like that's an easy ask. You know, and shouldn't be a hard thing to oblige.
And it's cool to, Stacy narrowed it down for us and said, Cornejos do hard things.
Every day.
Because my kids were like, oh, we don't want to run it, we want to walk it. No, Cornejos do hard things. You had to be there by 6:30. We all woke up at 5:45 to get it done, and that's what a way to start Mother's Day weekend. Of course, we want to let mom sleep in sometimes, but she was able to take a nap.
Oh yeah,
on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, and then some of the other things I get, like I got, so I didn't look at any emails or anything until Monday. I gave myself a few days to kind of unwind and just unplug for a little bit. Got to spend my Sunday with my mom and spend Mother's Day out at the farm. Had a great day. Just, that's my happy place. Not very great cell phone reception, so it's kind of just leave the phone in the truck.
Perfect.
So I looked at the emails on Monday, and I got a lady that emailed me and said, you know, her registration got messed up. She signed up for the 5K, but they had her under the half marathon for some reason. So not a big deal, but she was concerned because of all of, and she was very adamant. Like, I hate to be the person whining and complaining about this, and you know, and just chalk it up to a donation to a good cause. But she's like, I have lost over 100+ pounds in the last year and a half. I was not able to walk a 5K, let alone ever think I could do a race, or a run-walk race. So this lady had accomplished so much, and this was like the leading force behind it, this race. So first thing I did was I took a second. I said, first off, let's take a second and just get your flowers for all the stuff you've done up until this point. Like, that is unbelievable. That is nothing but hard work, dedication, and you're sticking to your goals. I was like, I don't know if you're at your goals or if you're still working. If you're not done yet, keep that pedal on the metal and just keep rocking, because you're only doing better for yourself the further you can get closer to those goals. And then after that, so I was like, first off, let's not overlook the big part of that email you sent out first. I was like, and according to your second part of the email, the question aspect, we strive to do great every year. We strive to do better. If we have shortcomings, we want to pick up those shortcomings and improve on them from the next year to year. I said, so I will forward all this stuff to Ultramax, make sure they can get everything corrected and verified for you. So hopefully we can see whether or not you dominated your new PR, or if, we'll see where you're at. Chris emailed back and said, first off, I'd just like to let you know you crushed your PR, your previous PR by, however many minutes. So again, like, these are the things that, like, everyone's like, well, that's kind of pity that or that's a little petty that they're mad about their time for a charity race and this and that. I was like, on surface level, yes, but you don't understand. There's a story deeper for all these people, and it might be someone running because they're a month sober and they need to keep on the right path. Maybe it's someone that needs to lose 100+ pounds and has been trying forever, and this gives them the motivation to do that. You want to see at the end of that mountain, or once you get to the top of that mountain, you want to know and feel that affirmation that what you did is, it's on paper and it's proof that you're making progress. Some people need visuals to see progress, whether that be their time, or they can print out that new PR, or maybe they put that above their mirror because that's the time they got to beat for the next PR. So again, yes, some of that stuff might seem petty at the surface level, but there's usually a deeper reason why they want to know what they want to know or why they want this done a certain way. So, again, I don't know these things if you don't email me and talk to me about them, because, again, we want to do better.
Yeah.
I can't say that everybody's time and everything is correct, unless you guys let us know. So that was, we only had about 3 emails of post-race stuff. One was about a lady ran in a shirt and she got something on it and stained it, and she wanted to know if we had any extras. The other lady was about the timing thing that I just told you about that lost all the weight. And the other one was just a question about why we didn't do individual awards. So I guess I'll backtrack. So Friday, we only had about 200 people come to packet pickup, which meant we had 234 people left to pick up their packets Saturday morning, and that's a lot. So we had all the Ultramax people that were on site were behind computers trying to get people registered and quick so we could do it fast. Had a little bit of an error where somebody hit the wrong button, and unfortunately they deferred every half marathon runner and some various racers deferred to next year's race. So all these people had to be re-entered into the computer.
Undo.
So not an intentional thing, not like that was their plan all along, but stuff happens, She didn't do it on purpose, but she's like, hey, I messed up. I hit the wrong button. I own it. I'm going to do my best. We're going to try and get things going. So the reason why we didn't do individual awards that morning, because we did the men's overall, women's overall, 5K, 10K, half marathon, the results weren't right. I had to go back up and correct them a couple different times. So if that was just for 6 of the overall awards, my emails on Monday from 3 would have probably been 3,000 if I've got every age group of every men and women's of every 3 race, and none of those are right. That means I've given out a bunch of awards to people that aren't given the correct awards. So we are going to correct that. I have been verified by Ultramax that the results are verified and finalized. So now that we have that, we will be mailing out the individual stuff. So again, not our plan, not part of my game plan for Saturday morning, but again,
I thought you were going to have a perfect race setup
for us. Shit happens,
man.
And we do the best we can. Okay,
so there will be technical difficulties.
Yes, and if you're not understanding why, host a race and you'll find out. If you don't want to know, then don't ask.
So year 5 will be bigger, better than ever, hopefully.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Let's shoot for 500 people. Everybody watching, you have to join us at Capital City Race next year.
Yep, but I think we also had states. I looked at the demographics. We had, I think, 13 representatives from different states.
Welcome to Jeff City.
Yes, so I think we had I saw some Texas, I saw some South Carolina, and there's a bunch more.
Arkansas for sure.
Arkansas, yeah, but there were some people that were pretty far out.
South Carolina?
Yeah, so I mean, and I've had several of those people that came up and talked to me, like, hey man, we're average, we like to go different places to do different things and travel, but also like to get a half marathon in or, some kind of a race while we're there. And, we've been doing this the last 2 years, and we love what you're doing. We love not just the run and the course and everything, but the cause is what keeps us coming back. And that's the message.
Yeah.
We've got to get this message to spread. And it just starts.
Well,
with
that
us.
speech was powerful too. That the young lady you had on stage before the race, Nancy.
Yeah.
Shout out, God bless Nancy.
Nancy Yeager's Fleet Feet. She had a loss this past year, and she reached out to me and wanted to speak. And that's.
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing for her to do, to reach out and ask if she could do that, because I hadn't thought about who I was going to have speak this year. And, she offered, and the time and the message and the circumstances were perfect. So I said, you know what, let's make this happen. So.
And that, to start that out, and so now that we've done that race, is the work done?
No.
Is the message already done and clear?
Nope. So we were talking before the podcast, they're like, man, how do you keep going? How do you, are you going to take some time off and just relax a little bit? And the answer is no. I'll take I took Sunday and Monday to, the rest of Saturday and then Sunday and Monday to kind of take it easy. And this week I didn't have super jam-packed just because, I still got some last-minute race stuff. I need to return some stuff and pay invoices and all that stuff. But outside of that, no, the work is not done. And what I told Gerardo before we started the podcast was, until that mental health and substance abuse meter says 0 people suffering, the message isn't done. So until that number says 0, which I would love for it to say 0 someday, but I don't know if that'll happen in my lifetime or not. But it starts with us keep spreading the message, and not just once here and there, but we got to live it. We can't just talk it. This is the show me state, so we got to show. you know? And that reminds me of like, you know, I remember whenever I first got sober and I got sat down at that kitchen table out of my parents' farm, I had to tell my parents, look, I understand that nothing that comes out of my mouth is reliable, is trustworthy or truthful. And I did that. I was the one that eroded that trust with lying and covering up lies with other lives, not to hurt anybody, but to cover up my drinking and my behavior and my, you know, my absence from places where I needed to be, doing the things I needed to do. And so I told my parents right then and there, I said, I could tell you all the things you want to hear. I've already been doing that. You've already heard it. You don't trust me. You don't believe me. I don't blame you, you know? So I'm done talking. I'm going to start showing you. You know, that's the best I can do right now with where I'm at, with my circumstances. So that's what this message is. You know, we can't just talk about it on weekends or when it's convenient. Like, you know, I get calls all the time where it's like, hey, do you got a minute? Can I talk to you about something? Maybe it's not the most convenient time, but hey, sometimes somebody just needs to get 5 minutes of just getting some shit off their chest before they make a stupid decision. Maybe go back, grab a bottle.
It could be their most important minute of their life that you put on hold.
Yeah. And yes, you might be busy, but guess what? If you spend 3 minutes listening to a buddy that's struggling, that could save their life. You know, we found out Saturday morning, me and the crew that was setting up at the Capitol, that an 11-year-old girl took her life in our community. You know, and when I heard that, like, I didn't even know what to say. Like, I didn't even know what to think. Like, there should never be a reason why an 11-year-old kid feels like this is the best option, you know? So I don't know, you know, it hit our race, it hit our community at, I don't want to say the perfect time, but a time where I feel like that message can be appreciated and understood even more, you know? Not saying it was a good thing at all. It's awful. You know, one of the hardest things I've ever heard, you know, an 11-year-old kid thinking that was the only option they had. So, again, you know, what do we do with that? You know, well, hopefully you're hugging your kids and you're having conversations with your kids, and hopefully they're uncomfortable in difficult situations, because the more they can understand things from a young age, they can use that throughout their life and mold that into something that makes more sense once they get a little bit more understanding, a little bit more life experience, and a little bit more understanding how the world works. But it starts at home, you know. It starts with the parents to be what you're meant to do, and that's be parents. That's protectors of your household.
And as a parent, just go on a walk with them. My advice is just separately or independently per kid, go on a walk with them. I've noticed Jacob now, when we're playing alone, he just starts letting it all out. And I'm just like,
because he lets his guard down. He's
his body's busy, and then his brain is like working, which is, boys, that's what we need to do.
Well, and I was going to say, so like, if you're having a one-on-one from male to male, you know, whether it be a father and a son or just two buddies or whatever, like, there's psychology behind it. Men and women are very different. We operate very differently. So if it's a men-to-men, man-to-man conversation, whether it be father-son or whoever, do it while you're doing something productive. Whether you're walking, playing catch with the football, playing catch with baseball, kicking a soccer ball. Men open up more when they're distracted, okay? So like, if you're standing still and we're at a kitchen table and we're just doing this, I'm not going to be super comfortable if I'm your son. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm getting in trouble. I feel like I'm in the principal's office or whatever.
Save that for the principal's office.
So have those conversations while you're doing something, you know? Again, whatever it is that you guys do together.
I have heard adult men, that's when we go golfing.
Yeah, or
and
golf.
Some of our best conversations are sitting next to each other on a golf cart or just driving next to each other, and that's when
men don't do well with eye-to-eye contact like that, to have those hard conversations. You have to be men, and that's just how men are geared. Me and a buddy, we'll go grab a coffee, and then we'll go take a lap, you know, around downtown. You know, we're talking, we're walking, we're not staring at each other the whole time, and you're more susceptible to just let shit out that maybe you wouldn't if you were just eye to eye, nose to nose with whoever that person is. Now, women, you put them at a lunch table with nothing but water and salad, they'll be there till close. You know what I mean? They can just look, and I mean, they can just, it's unbelievable how they do it. But again, I love it. But again, it just shows how completely different men and women handle issues like that. You know what I mean? So if you're having issues, having those conversations, or, you know, I sat my kid down and, you know, we didn't get anything accomplished. Like, well, if it's your son, get outside and do something, you know, or whatever it is you guys need to do, like just be active while you're talking, because while you're, working out or going for a jog or going for a walk, taking the dog around the block, you're more susceptible to have a better conversation that way.
Talk to your children, or listen to your children.
Listen and talk. Listen and talk.
Meet them where they're at. We heard after the race that our community has lost a very important 11-year-old member, and there is no explanation. So with me and Matt, and even close friends to ours, it's like, what can we do next? What can we do next? So you guys help us out. What can we do next? Like, we're not going to stop doing this because the work is not done. We love having these conversations. It is a therapy session between me and Matt.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for those that are joining us.
Yeah.
But if there's any advice or tell us what next we could do, shout out to Ryan Freeman. He's a big part of our community and our friendship.
Yeah.
And he's doing things with United Way. Where we had that discussion, what else can we do? Like, the race was great, but bam, we get smacked with that.
Yeah.
And then Nancy up there crying, whew, that's like gets you chills, and then having a beautiful day, and it's better to be alive.
Honoring our veterans, playing taps, and then the national anthem.
Shout out to Blair Oaks Band.
Boy, those taps, boy, I saw some watery eyes in the corrals there.
What's the song, the Army song or the military song?
It's called Taps.
Taps?
Yeah, that's what they play at the funerals.
Yes, so that one, woof. We could hear the fish in the river.
Yeah, it
Missouri
was dead
River.
silent.
It was dead silent when that was playing.
But shout out to the military. We had the Army there with some military vehicles.
That was cool.
Humvee, and then they had a big ass truck. And then Judge Walker has, shout out Judge Walker and his family. They have two World War II style military vehicles.
Oh, those are his?
So one was like a military Jeep from World War II, the smaller little Jeeps. And then they had a Weasel, which is like on tracks, so kind of like a tank, but like much smaller, obviously. So he's whipping that thing out off of the trailer. I was like, oh my gosh.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was just, so we had those facing, like, as you guys started out on the run, they were like kind of right here as you guys headed out. But so just shout out with that. Jeff City Fire was there. We appreciate them being supporters as well. Those guys, I couldn't imagine what kind of mental health hurdles they got to jump through just seeing some of the stuff they see and answering calls that they got to call on. And again, a couple of those guys that were working that day, I've known those guys since I was a little kid. One of them wrestled with my brother and Elias back in the day, and I was like oohing and ahhing that these were my idols, because they were just beasts and just super good. And he let me know, he's like, hey, they're having a problem with the truck. They'll be up in just a few minutes. No problem. Sounds good. And he calls me like 5 minutes later. He's like, hey, dude, he's like, they can't get the truck running, and it's got the flag. I'm really sorry, dude. I don't know what to do. I was like, hey, you got the ladder truck here? Put that ladder out just like there was an American flag. Just put that, I want your guys' presence here.
Bam.
Because again, I can't control a fire truck not starting. I wish I could. I can't. All right. So again, another thing that just doesn't always go according to plan. We can hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Good thing the Capitol wasn't on fire.
But it is what it is, So again, there's just things that happen throughout that process. So I hope everybody had the best experiences they could. And again, don't just hear this message and keep it inside. You got to open up and help spread the message with me. I can't be the only cheerleader to do this. Me and Gerardo can't be the only two. It takes the village to make this thing work, to make real change. Everybody has to be engaged, involved, and willing to get uncomfortable, to have a difficult conversation, because guess what? The first time you do it, it's going to be hard, scary, unknown, but if you keep doing it, it gets better and better and easier and easier and easier. When I first started doing public speaking, I was terrified to death. But I knew it was hard. I knew it was something I wasn't good at. So I had to lean into it until I accepted that, hey, this is talking about your life. Like, it's not a book report. It's not a S&P 500 breakdown of how the stock market works. It's my life. It's my story. Why are you nervous about talking about it? So that's how it goes, guys. It's going to be hard at first. But if you keep doing it, it gets easier. Just like your job. Day one, you didn't know shit. Day two, you know a little bit more. Now look at you 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, you're a guru. You're the best. You're, top of your field, whatever it is. Again, it applies the same to how we handle this stuff as well.
And you might think they're problems. They're just stories. And I asked Matt, We had your wonderful event on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next.
Okay.
We'll recap
And
that next.
but just seeing you on stage, and I was like, dude, you're nailing it. He said, but it's my story.
Yeah.
That's what's not confusing. That's what I'm not guessing. It's just my story. And that's what I want everybody to at least start. It's just a story that you have of this book that's going to be written about you, or a chapter that you're going through your life. It's not a problem. It's just part of the story. And then you move forward, and then you don't give up. You just speak on it, and that's what keeps repeating in my head. Like, speak to somebody about it, speak about it, and I think that's the way we can get it out. I mean, it started with Nancy, speaking about it, losing somebody, losing Jared that day. The way you said how hard you worked, and you were able to triple the GoFundMe page, and you give him, and he still gave up, or he still just couldn't get over it. We'll just keep it at that. I think we need to get our friends or anybody or our loved ones to speak about it.
Yeah, and so I mean that we'll kind of recap, or we'll put a cap on like the race stuff. So along with last week, I said Wednesday through Saturday were a blur. So Wednesday we had our volunteer meeting for the race. All of our volunteers, thank you all so much. I told you guys at the meeting.
Wonderful job.
I'm going to put it on record here. Yes, I'm an important part of this race, but so are the volunteers. Because guess what? I can't man every aid station. I can't work every corner. I can't work across the bridge. I can't do it all. So I have to have help. And without the volunteers, either the people on the treatment court or just our volunteers of people that just wanted to help. You guys are just as much important to this event happening as I am. Okay, I had an idea and I ran with it. But guess what? Everybody's got a great idea. Can you make it a reality? That's the true test, not the thought, but where the action takes you with the thought. So, so Wednesday was that. And then Thursday, we had the Missouri Mental Health Foundation Champions Banquet, where I was the recipient of the Mental Health Champions Award for someone with substance use and mental health issues. Very honored to have that, on my mantle now. It's one of those things where, we had a table of 10, and I had some very close people at my table with me. Gerardo and Stacy were with me. Ryan Freeman was with me. My mom and dad, my brother and his wife, Bob and Cheryl Eads. They're very important to my sobriety. Bob came and was one of the first people to come visit me up at Boonville whenever I went to rehab. And when he showed up, I burst into tears because I didn't know why he was there. I didn't know why anybody would want to come see me because I was a no good piece of shit, according to me. So him showing up, giving me support when I didn't have any support for myself. Again, if I was running on empty on the gas tank, that put me right back to full. So in early sobriety, I needed more people to believe in me because I didn't believe in myself. I can use the motivation of others that believe in me and that think I can get through this. I used that until I could do it for myself, So again, a very important table of people with me. I guess the best way to say it was, so I was lucky enough to be the first speaker of the night. So the first thing they did when they start talking is put a plate of food in front of us. So about 3 bites of my chicken cordon bleu later, I was like, and we're done. Because I don't know about you guys, some people stress eat. I stress don't eat. So just in lieu of what I had going on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think those last couple bites of cordon bleu were my last meal till Saturday, maybe Sunday. Otherwise, it was coffee, energy drinks, caffeine, the nuts, the stuff you shouldn't be doing. But I'm a stressed non-eater. So whenever I'm stressed, I'm not hungry. So, that Thursday night was beautiful. The Mental Health Foundation, shout out to them. They put on it is a mind-blowing experience. If you haven't been and you get the opportunity, I would strongly suggest you go next year. But if you want to have your mind blown and your heart overflowing with just people out there trying to do better, than they were yesterday or the day before, man, it'll refill your cup. It'll refill your cup. But one thing I would like to say, need to talk to some of my legislators up at the Capitol, I guess. Standing ovation should be illegal. Super illegal.
Standing ovations?
Yes, because the person that's getting standing ovation for, what do you do with your hands? What do you do with everything? What do you do? Huh? What do we do? That's ridiculous. Appreciative of it, but man, you want to talk about the most uncomfortable feeling in the world?
I wish you would have stood up and looked around, man, because it's...
Yeah, I wouldn't have been good if I did. I would have needed a box of Kleenex probably, so I had to keep my head down and just keep it together before I gave my speech. So, you know, it was beyond appreciative, very uncomfortable, more uncomfortable than actually getting up and talking. So if anything ever that happens again, we can just stay seated and just clap. But again, very appreciative
I
of
want
it.
you to hug him instead.
Very appreciative of it. But yeah, got up on stage and, you know, kind of building off of what Gerardo was saying, you know, I don't do notes. I don't do a pre-written speech, you know, because there's something I might hear earlier in that day that just totally takes me down a different path, or maybe it clicks with something that, you know, I wasn't thinking of at the time. So I go just off the cuff, you know, like Gerardo said, it's my story. There's a lot of different avenues and little slices of it I could talk about. I don't have enough time to talk about the whole story in the time given to give a speech like that. So I have to kind of curtail it to where I think the audience is, or just what I got going on in my heart at the time. But one thing about that speech is it was raw, it was authentic, and it was as honest as I could be, you know. And I would have been curious, you know, just do a show of hands after I was done talking. How many of the things that I talked about that I went through in that journey, how many of you have ever had those thoughts before? Because I guarantee you there would have been a lot of hands up in the air, you know. So how much does that make us different? Okay? If we've all got our hands up and we're all saying that we deal with the same thing, how big are our problems really? Whether it be red or blue or fiscally responsible or fiscally conservative, or it doesn't matter. Okay, it matters how we're doing. It matters how your partner's doing. It matters how your spouse is doing, your kids, your neighbor, your neighborhood, your city, your community. Like it starts with you and it builds out from there. You know, and I did say this at the speech was, you know, it's one of those things where if we can all take a long, hard look in the mirror, because this is where I struggled with the longest, and being okay with the person you see back, and not looking at that as the person from 7 years ago, the person from 8 years ago, the person from 9 years ago. I couldn't make those two, the square peg fit in the round hole. It was just not something I could do. But it took a shit ton of work, a shit ton of failing, shit ton of picking myself back up and back at it, you know. And eventually I got to a point where I was okay with who I was. I was able to look at myself as the person I am today, as opposed to always seeing myself as the person I was back whenever I was still drinking. So it starts with being okay with yourself, because you can't help anybody else if you're not okay with yourself, you know, and then from there, it just expands outward. So big shout out. I had to give a big thanks to God. He saved my life while I was in jail, the most random of places you'd ever think you'd be saved or have divine intervention take place. So again, if you don't think he's listening, he spoke to me in jail, okay? So he's listening all the time, and there's signs everywhere. But whenever I was drinking, I wasn't looking for a single goddamn sign. I just wanted magic to happen for me, you know? Nowadays, there's shit that happens that I can't explain. The coincidence of when they happen and in the order they happen, and they had to happen a certain way, otherwise I wouldn't be here. So again, it's hard to describe and put into words how that works. But I don't have to ask questions anymore, because God gave me a sign without me even having to ask. And after that, okay, I don't have to question you anymore, because I'm just going to follow your lead. And ever since, that's where we're at and where we're at today. You know, second shout out, my family. You know, without them having my back at the lowest of lows, at the worst of the worst, after me being the biggest shit in the world, they didn't give up on me, you know, and I needed them to support me through this, and they were willing and able, you know, and I did. This is one of those things I think was one of those gasping moments, or the air conditioning moments that we talked about earlier Thursday night was, you know, any of you parents out there listening to this, what would have to happen with you and your spouse, or you and your kid, to give them an ultimatum of either A, go into rehab, leave your checkbook, leave the keys to your house, we'll take care of everything while you're gone, or you're never going to see us again. You're never going to see your mom. You're never going to see your dad, your brother, your sister-in-law, your nephews. You're not coming to Christmas. You're not coming to Easter. None of those things. So if you're a parent and you have kids, how hard would that decision be? That those are the only two choices that you feel are left for your kid. This is someone that shows nothing but unconditional love from the time I'm born until the time they pass. So I put my parents through that. I have to live with that, and I have to own knowing that every time their phone rang for a long time, they were afraid it was the cops saying that I had killed somebody, I'd killed myself, both, or I was arrested again. It was nothing but a roller coaster of death, and eventually, thank God, I got off before that happened, so.
Thank God.
So for all those parents out there, these conversations, I never had these conversations with my parents until I was in a deep, deep hole, and I was 35 or 34 years old, okay, almost 35. If you have these conversations starting earlier, you can prevent a lot of chaos, and you can give your kids the faith that they can go to you guys with whatever the problem is, whether it be good, bad, or just, hey, Dad, I wanted to run something by you real quick. You got to have these conversations because you don't want to see these problems happen later on in life, because guess what that means? It means you probably could have had conversations earlier and maybe prevented this, or maybe lessened the blow, or whatever it might be. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, now thinking of continuing to listen to my kids and talk to your kids. You said that on that speech, man, and it was.
Because a lot of people don't think, what does it do to everybody else that's around you that loves you? And that's the suicide talk.
And you were making that choice already to not have them in your life by ignoring all that. But then when those people give you the option, whether you're going to see us, you're either choosing life and family or what you're continuing to do. And I got to meet your parents finally. So shout out to the Chins.
Wayne and Janet.
I got to meet Wayne, and that is a man. That is a man. You shake that man's hand, you're touching a bear.
He's got sausage fingers.
Yeah, you're touching a bear when you meet Wayne.
Yeah. So
I'm glad proud of your choices, what's going on and what you're doing. I think that's just what we came up with, especially with the race. Thursday leading to the race.
Yeah.
The work is never done. We have to reach out to people today.
Yeah.
And tomorrow. We missed out on some people yesterday.
I challenge y'all, start today. Start today. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? Are you that busy you don't have 5 minutes to call somebody you haven't talked to that may or may not have reached out at some point? Like, you know what? Bill did reach out a couple weeks ago. He did sound a little, I should give Bill a call.
Your gut's going to be right.
Call.
Your gut is right 100% of the time.
And if you're wrong, hey, you got 5 minutes talking to Bill. You know what I mean? So, again, you guys don't understand the outreach of just one phone call, one text. Hey, thinking about you, brother. Hope you have a great Wednesday. That can change someone's day. I texted Jim because Jim was down there helping out, volunteering on Saturday.
Yeah.
So he doesn't do well with crowds.
I didn't see him.
He doesn't do well with crowds. This is a new thing. He doesn't, he's, I don't know, but anyways, Jim's one of my clients. He's been sober for probably about 10, 11 months maybe. Anyway, so he's like, I want to volunteer. I hope I can keep it together, and I don't flake out on you and just have to bounce, but from what you've been talking about, I need to do this. I was like, all right, man, let's do it. So he showed up 5 o'clock Saturday morning, was helping out the Capitol grounds and was willing and able and helping out where he could and doing this. And then he was at an aid station over in Riverside Park. And, he was in the back of my head because I'm like, man, I hope Jim's doing okay. I hope Jim's doing okay. I know how he does with crowds and just being a new thing and all that. So I saw him again, Saturday after he was done at his station. He came back to the Capitol. He's like, and he had the biggest smile on his face. And dude, I got goosebumps just talking about it. It filled my cup up even more, man. And I shot him a text message on Sunday because he's leaving for California Monday, and go to visit some family and friends. And I just said, hey, man, first off, I just want to know how proud I am of you for overcoming your fears of just the crowds and just all that stuff. I was like, dude, when you were there at 5 a.m., put a smile on my face, and you were helping here and you were helping there, and whatever you need me, just point me in the direction. You were doing it. And then you went to your aid station, you got done with that, and I saw you again at the back at the Capitol after we were all done. and you had this big smile on your face. It's like, man, I go, I'm just so proud of you, man. And he sent back, he's like, you son of a bitch. You're bringing tears to my eyes right before I'm about ready to get on a goddamn plane. But again, that took 3 minutes maybe, to send that text message. And that made his day.
He's sober, smiling.
Smoke-free.
Smoke-free.
Yeah.
And he's getting to surf.
Yeah.
He's out there surfing. Shout out to Jim.
Shout out, Jim. Enjoy the wave, brother. But no, I'll finish on this one here. So one last thing I got. So I was weed eating yesterday. And I got done weed eating in the backyard, and I saw I had a missed call from my buddy Mike. And so I called him back. I said, hey, Mike, what's up, buddy? He's like, oh, not too much. What are you doing? I was like, oh, I was weed eating in the yard and when you called, so I missed you. I was like, figured give you a call. And he's like, hey, man, I talked to Ryan Freeman, and he kind of filled me in on what happened last week with you. He's like, I don't know if, congratulations is even the right word. It's more of just a matter of, how proud I am of you for just everything you've done. And I said, well, coming from you, I go, that means a lot because, and I told Ryan and I told Mike this independently. I told Ryan Thursday night at the banquet, and I told Mike yesterday. I said, and these guys are from Jeff City. They're a couple years older than me. So we knew each other in high school, not well, but we'd see each other out and about. And then we were in the same fraternity. They were a couple years older. And I'd always looked up to both of them for different reasons, but very high respect in my book. Mike's always the hardest working guy in the room. And he is all about nobody cares, work harder. He's the embodiment of that sentiment. And Ryan, just what he does day in and day out and manages his stress and still has a family and his wife and his kids and he's still involved in the community, how he does all the things he does with not falling into that trap of just burying yourself in self-soothing, unhealthy ways, such as some of the ones I used to do. I've just had the utmost respect for him, but I told those guys, because they were, trying to give me all the flowers. I'm like, you guys don't get it. It wasn't a me thing that made this happen. I go, Mike, you were my first personal training client before I even got in this gym, before Gerardo reached out. We were doing it out of my basement during COVID, If that didn't happen, I don't know if I still might be working at Madison's right now and never would have thought that I could get back to a spot where I could run this gym. And, so, there's so many things that have happened in the order that they had to happen and for this to come to fruition. So, it's just, I'm so appreciative, but it's not just a one-man army here. This is a village that makes this machine run, So it wasn't just, yes, I physically had to do a lot of this stuff myself, but I said, I needed you guys to believe in me because I didn't believe in myself, and I could ride that wave of you guys supporting me until I could do it for myself. And eventually I got to that point, but it was not quick and it was not fast. And it took a lot of errors along the way, to tinker, to correct, and to get things dialed in a little bit better. So, those are the phone calls that just put me over the top, and, so again, this isn't a one-person journey. This is everybody's involved that's in your life, whether it be family or friends or whoever it is, coworkers, and again, it's just one of those things. I'm just beyond blessed, beyond grateful. Overfloweth of the cup is an understatement. I need 5-gallon buckets that are overflowing right now. So, like I said, it still hasn't fully hit me yet, I don't think, but I'm just so happy for everything, man. Life's great, God is good. Stick around, guys, because there's a lot more life to live. So don't think, if you get to that point where you don't think so, reach out to us.
Matt's just getting started.
Call somebody and just talk, because we're here to listen.
I'll end with this. Parents, tell your children you're proud. Tell your kids they're proud. Tell your teenagers you're proud of them. Your adult kids, just let them know you're proud. Some kids wait their entire lives to hear that, and they don't.
Yeah.
Again, they didn't choose to be here. We put them in this world. Remind them that you're proud of them just for living and making it to today, to the next day, to this point in their lives.
Yeah.
It's just a game. We're not gonna win. we don't get to stay alive forever, but our stories do.
Yeah.
And it's been a very, very good beginning to summer.
Yes.
And getting started. A lot of blessings happening for all of us.
Yeah.
And shout out, another thing that we talked about yesterday, my buddy, yesterday lost his grandpa, or pretty much was going to lose his grandpa by the time he went to bed.
Yeah.
But my other friend is having a baby, either or not. We're supposed to have it yesterday, but having it today. So he brought that point up that when we lose an angel, we gain an angel. You know, so it's all of that and everything in between.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, me and my dad didn't tell each other we loved each other till 23 years old. Till I was 23 years old. Okay, if you're a parent, don't do that. Okay, much sooner, much sooner, and often and frequent. Okay, goes a long way.
The work is not done.
Please shout us out if you got any specifics we should talk about. Okay, we're willing to talk
Yes.
about any and all topics. If it's related to mental health, substance abuse, if you're having issues in your personal life with a certain area, let us know. We'll dive into it. We'll do what we do best and try and let you know that how we're not perfect, and we'll probably fall down in the process, but we dust off, we get back up, we adjust, and we keep climbing.
Keep hammering. Thank you for watching the Not
So Perfect podcast. Till
Peace.
next time. Oh, that leg cross was way